your head up, you ain't gon' believe this. It's your boy Squint talking that shit, go and tell him what it is. Just a man and his podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. One by one, it's a tag match. Either way for me, cause I'ma make the bloodbath. TST, make you see stars when I throw hands. Keep on spitting bars after bars, like the cage, man. I'ma get the Hardy Boys off the ropes, make it rain, man. You ain't seen it.
What's up, you guys? It's your boy Squints here with another episode of A Man and His Podcast with a very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Godspeed, Noah. Clover finally getting on the pod. We've been trying to set this up for a while now. I'm glad we finally could get it down.
I was going to say, I've been hitting you up about it and talking to you at all these shows because we're at almost every show I'm at, you're at. And we've been, like I said, just talking about it. But we finally got it dialed in on at the show I really want to talk about is Anakin's No Ring, No Hope Tax Return Wrestling. How was that? Because I was there recording the match, and that looked gnarly.
It was my first death match. It was an experience that I never honestly thought I would do in this professional wrestling. You know, I didn't see myself as a death match guy. I didn't see myself getting all cut up and all the time. You know, I don't mind it, but after that match, dude, it's like, man, now I want to do more.
I was gonna ask, do you want to do more death matches now?
Maybe on the yes side of the, you know, I mean, I'm not just wanting to brutalize my body every single match and just strictly do death matches, but if the right opportunity and the right opponent, you know, present themselves, 100%, I would.
Yeah. And then real quick, I do want to let you guys know that we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. If you're watching and you have any questions, comments, any of that stuff, go ahead. Leave them in the comments. I will get to them. We had one question that came in from Project Luca, and he said, what is your opinion on the Sheets bacon, egg, and cheese bagel, I think it was?
Suck, Squints. They suck.
Is that the one that you did a review for on
That's the McDonald's bacon, egg, and cheese bagel, which is literally my favorite food.
Oh, really?
Oh my dude. It is. If you haven't had it, you need to go and get it tomorrow morning. Because it is amazing.
Have you had the steak, egg, and cheese bagel?
I don't like all the sauteed onions that they have on it.
Yeah. I forgot it came with onions, and I got it one day, and I took a bite, and I was like, oh, God. Ugh. I'm not a big onion guy.
Yeah, I went to Unsanctioned Pro with Anakin and Gary and Luca this past Saturday, and I tried to convince them to go to McDonald's as we, you know, all met up, and that just didn't happen. So that was the can't get my words out, but instead of getting McDonald's, they were like, well, you can get this one from Sheets later in the night, and it was ass.
So you said you rode with Gary. Did Gary tell you mine and his McDonald's experience after GCW Friday? What you said?
Was that the Karen at the McDonald's?
Yeah. That was it. Was something. We have a question in from.
Go ahead.
Oh, Caleb French asks, best chicken joint in your guys' opinion?
Chicken sandwiches, it's going to be like Popeyes but wings. There's a little local spot by my house that I go to regularly called Moe's that has really good wings.
I've heard about Moe's. I was going to say Popeyes. Wingstop is very good. I had Chuck's Hot Chicken. That's a local thing. I'm not real big on that. But I've heard nothing but good things about Moe's.
Hot chicken with Anakin Murphy, and that wasn't too bad either.
What chicken did you have with Anakin?
Down in Chattanooga. We were down there for a TWE show.
You keep cutting out. Let me see if I can fix that. What place did you say, though? For some reason, when you start talking, the first few seconds it cuts out.
That'll help. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, for some reason it was on a
It's
bit of
the
a
AirPods.
delay.
They're old. The AirPods are old.
Oh, oh,
Uh,
you don't got the next gen.
hell no, I'm not spending $200 on some headphones.
But what spot in Chattanooga did?
It was Dave's Hot Chicken, just a little, I guess, local. I've never heard of it till we were down there, but it was all right.
How is it going on those road trips? Because the one person I know that is like always on the road is Anakin. How are those road trips riding with Anakin and riding with Gary and Project Luca and all these people? How are those?
Well, Anakin really has taken me under his wing, I would say, in the past almost a year now. So almost any time that I can ride with him to any show, I do. But just being able to pick him and Gary's brain has been an honor, honestly. Like I said, last Saturday, we just drove to Unsanctioned Pro, which was down at Columbus, Ohio. So just having 6 or 7 hours in a car each way, it's like I said, an honor just to be able to pick their brains because they're at a level that I want to get at.
No, definitely. Anakin is one of the like he might be young in the business, but he has one of the best brains in the business also.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, very
Um,
young, very young. Honestly, when I first met him, I thought he was quite a bit older. I thought he was actually older than me. And then he was like, "No, I'm 22." And I was like, "Oh, God."
yeah, when he told me that when him and the Luminary and Nick King, we all rode to Kansas City with Duck from Anarchy. Uh I asked Anakin, I was like, how old are you? And he was like 22. And I was like, 22? I was like, there's no shot. Like, I thought he was older than me.
Yeah, no, I did too. And like I said, he's just so good. And honestly, like he's been awesome. Honestly, he's been training me pretty much now. We train almost every Thursday before the Thursday night throwdown shows for 0-1. Just picking his brain, asking him where this should fit into something. Um, Even my character work sometimes I'll ask a lot of questions about trying just to improve my game through people that
No.
I know are better and have been doing it longer than myself.
How is it doing those Thursday night shows? Because I've heard great reviews about it. And just, I feel like it's a great opportunity for anyone really to be able to wrestle weekly.
It is. Honestly, it's an amazing opportunity to have a company run a weekly show and allow us to get the reps that we all need every week in this show. Yeah, it's a little bit of a drive from my house, but I would do it. I do it every week because I love it. It's the atmosphere is great. The locker room is great. The crowd is great. You know, it honestly is one of my favorite places to go.
So, what is the longest road trip you've done for wrestling so far?
On a show I wrestled at, or just in general.
A show you've wrestled.
It would probably be the No Ring show, the Dojo Rising. Aaron Wade hosted a show in Chattanooga that I wrestled on against Casey Owens. That was about a 6.5 there, 6.5 back.
Okay, damn. 6.5. That's not an easy drive.
No, it was me and Anakin though. Anakin was on the same show, so it wasn't too bad. We split the driving up together, so it's not bad at all.
So, how long have you been wrestling? I typically don't ask that question on this podcast, but how long have you been wrestling and what made you start training?
About a year and a half in totality. And I started training a little while, like before COVID, I started training with Izzy Blackwell before he passed away a little bit. And then I stopped after COVID. And then I came back to wrestling and started training a little bit at the Dynamo Dojo out in St. Louis. And with my constant work, my work schedule and stuff like that, it's just so hard to get there. So I've kind of just taken up the Thursdays and I go up there early and I train with Anakin now, still to this day. Anything I can get more reps, better in any aspect of the game.
No, definitely. What made you want to start wrestling? Do you remember the moment where you were like, that's it, I'm going to start training?
Um, Honestly, I've loved this since I was. I can remember some vague moments in the wrestling world as as such a young kid and just falling in love with the sport itself. Like I remember vaguely where I was sitting at when Edge cashed in the Money in the Bank for the first time. Um, I had Eddie Guerrero's death, Chris Benoit's death. I was probably like Eddie died in 2005. I was 5 years old, and
Yeah.
I remember exactly where I was sitting. But the reason I want to do this though is the connections that you make to the people. You know, I've been to all the local indie shows from my area and just shaking hands with some of these guys, thinking they're larger than life athletes. It's I want to make a kid's day. I want to make an adult's day. I want to be that reason that they want to come to the shows and have a good time. I want to give them that emotional connection to me.
Yeah. No, definitely, definitely. I forget we're kind of in the same age range because me and you both
Mhm.
we grew up watching the same wrestling because I was 6 when Eddie passed. But we have another question from Caleb French here. They ask, let me pull it up. Besides the death match, what is the most painful injury you've had from wrestling?
Honestly, nothing in the death match was worse than when I messed up my knee. Honestly, I was wrestling in a singles match. It was right when I first started. It was at CHWA. I went to step in the ring and I got hit with a drop kick. And when I stepped, my foot actually got tangled between the bottom and the bottom and the middle rope. And when I fell to the floor, it popped and I like slightly tore my meniscus. Nothing that needed surgery or nothing, but like just hurt like hell for about 4 months.
Oh, what was the worst? Like, what was the most painful thing in that death match?
It probably was the gusset plate in all totality. Now the thumbtacks hurt probably worse, just taking them out, rolling around on them, getting hit with those multiple times. I mean, the gusset plate I only got hit with once, but man, it did its job.
Yeah, no, that was the firecrackers. That's what like that was insane.
That rang my ear for about a day.
Yeah, it happened and I was like, "Oh man." And then when me and Lindsay the photographer we got outside to her car, I was like, "I cannot hear." And she's like, "I can't hear either." Because there was also people I forget there was 2 live band sets too. So it was a air ringing day.
It was definitely an ear ringing day. You should have came with some earplugs.
Well, it's funny they were selling earplugs and I kept telling myself I was like, "I don't need them. I'm too tough for that. I don't need earplugs."
You'll get them next time.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Because I forgot the date, but Tax Return Wrestling is coming back to Jacksonville, Illinois for another no ring show at Pizza Records, correct?
I believe so. I'm not. I know Anakin runs all that, but I don't know the fine details of the date or when it is. I know that they talked to him about running another show there, but I would love it, and I loved Pizza Records. I thought it was originally when I got told that it was a record shop, I was like, oh, that's kind of a little different. But when
Yeah.
I walked in that building, it was awesome. The vibes, the people, the everything. The crowd was even awesome that night. Everything went perfect, I felt like that night.
Oh, most definitely. When I heard it was a record shop, I was super, super confused. But like you said, it was like a vibe you can't really find anywhere else for a venue.
Exactly. It's
But
exactly kind of how I felt.
my next question is: I seen a video of you on Tax Return Wrestling's YouTube channel of your, I think it was top 10 white girl songs or top 10.
Yeah.
So I need to know what are your honorable mentions from that list, and if you just want to go over that list again, if you remember
Oh,
it for the audience.
oh God, hold on. I don't remember everything, but I can tell you like number one was uh fuck, what was number one now? I can't even remember off the top of my head.
I think
You caught me off guard with that one.
number
Uh
one, I think was a Katy Perry song, was it not?
no, Katie was 10 and 8 because it was the one that got away and California Girls were on there. I know that. But there was a couple honorable mentions like No Scrubs by TLC was real close to getting on there. There were some more Miley Cyrus that really could have went on there. There was some Taylor Swift that obviously could have been on there, but I didn't want to flood that list with just, one artist per. So I tried to break it down and make things, and I tried to use a lot of different genres. Not genres, but like time frames. Like
Yeah.
Kelly Clarkson being at 3. Some people didn't like that option, but if you go back to when that song came out, it was all over the place. So
So what is your bottom 3 white girl songs? What are your top 3 like most overrated white girl songs? Let's ruffle some feathers.
Most things by Taylor Swift. I'm not a humongous fan. She's good, but I'm not a huge fan.
I hope Shaz and Nixie aren't listening to this because you might get heat
Look,
listening to that one.
I think she's great. I don't think all the hate that she gets is not worth it. She doesn't deserve all that hate she gets. But she's not, in my opinion, she is not as good as what she is made out to be. But Celine Dion could have been on that list for me personally. I'm a big Celine Dion fan, so it all really depends on that was my list. Like I said at the end of that video, that white girl anthem list was my list. If you don't like it, make your own.
Oh, Caleb French just says, does Noah like Celine Dion? Sent that in right as you said it.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. He's got to know. But
so what do you listen to? Let's say you're on one of these wrestling trips, and Anakin or Gary say, "Hey Noah, play your playlist." What songs are you playing?
I don't. Because my music taste is completely different from their music taste. Now, I can listen to anything, and I'll find something and everything that I like. But when I play music myself, it is white girl anthems, like Celine Dion, like Miley Cyrus. But I'll go with like T-Pain. I listen to like singers. I used to do choir when I was in high school and almost did it in college too. So I like vocals. I like pretty sounding voices.
I just I'm thinking of a car ride with you guys, and they're asking you that, and you play like there's what was it that Gary doesn't like? He doesn't like Hot to Go. I'm taking it. Do you like Hot to Go?
Hell yeah! I'm always ready for Hot to Go.
Chappelle Roan, or is that her name? Chappelle Roan.
Chappelle Roan.
That's it. There's one other song that she has that I really like. It's
Good Luck Babe.
Something Pony.
See, I'm not a big Chappelle Roan fan. Actually, Anakin got me on Chappelle Roan because he used Good Luck Babe for the first tax return show as his theme song. And I was like, who the hell is this? And he was like, he showed me the song on the way up there, and I loved it.
Caleb French asks another question. Thank you, Caleb, for all the questions. They ask, if he could sit down to eat with any wrestler, dead, alive, retired, etc., who would it be?
The easy answer is Chris Jericho. But if we're talking picking brains, like obviously just to have a conversation with, it'd probably be Shawn Michaels.
Ooh, yeah. So Chris Jericho would be your
Jericho is my favorite of all time.
okay.
The reinventions, the work rate has always been there. I know people don't care for him right now because of his age or whatever, but his matches are still great when you look at him. I've loved everything. I love Fozzy. I think that he's done some of the best work. One of my favorite matches of all time is the Shawn Michaels Jericho ladder match at No Mercy,
where they play tug of war with the title,
and Jericho loses part of his tooth, and
yeah,
that match is one of my favorites.
One Man Zoo comments Pink Pony Club. That's
that Chappelle Roan song you were talking about.
Yep. But no, while we're on the topic of Jericho, he has like people can dislike him or whatever for whatever reasons, but at the end of the day, like he's at 30 years in wrestling, I think.
I think he's at 32 now.
32, which is crazy because he's been consistent that whole time. I think he might have taken like a year off here and there, but
Well, he took some people. So he's been in the business for 30 years, but people do forget that he took a long time off after 2007. I mean, he was gone from like 2007 to 2009, 2010
yeah,
almost, until he returned and had that feud with Orton with the Save Us Y2J.
that was he left in 05 and came back in
Yeah.
07 for that.
Yeah, my bad.
Didn't
No, I didn't. Before you ask, I see the comment, Chan. No, I fucking didn't. I was supposed to get it at the No Ring show. You were supposed to bring me my fucking ice cream, Chan.
What's the backstory on this?
Dude, so I went to help Tommy Davis record a promo for Anarchy down in Grafton, Illinois.
Yeah.
So we were driving out there, yada yada yada, and I was like, dude, I kind of want some ice cream. Like, I don't know why, I was just craving an ice cream cone. And he was like, I know this really, really good spot down in Grafton. So I was like, all right, cool, we'll go there. So we go, we film this promo, we get the ice cream. Well, Tommy was like, well, can we redo the promo? I don't like something about it. I was like, cool, man, I have no problem doing it. Let me finish my ice cream first. He was like, that's perfectly fine. Well, the sun starts to go down. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to get rid of half of this ice cream. So I tried to step out of the car and like get rid of some of it. The entire ice cream fell out of the cone and hit the floor. And I'm talking, this ice cream cone was like this big. Like, it was huge. I spent like $15 on this ice cream cone just to drop it on the floor. I was not happy.
Chan likes to stir the pot.
I love Chan. Chan is hilarious.
For a guy that I watched get shot dead at Tax Return Wrestling.
Oh, yeah. How's that feel?
No. Chan's the dude. What is your go-to ice cream flavor?
I'm real basic, man. Like cookies and cream. Sorry, my dog's being a clown. Cookies and cream, vanilla, chocolate. I do like a strawberry every now and then. Come on, move. Hold on. Sorry about that. She was wanting out.
No, you're good.
But yeah, I'm real basic when it comes to ice cream flavors. I don't like to do anything that I'm not going to like. Even with regular food, I don't try a lot of new foods just for the sheer fact that I'm not going to try something and not like it and spend money on it.
Chan says, I love you, Noah.
Chan knows I love him to death. He always brightens up the show. When I see Chan in a show, it just brightens my day. For real.
It's funny because me and him have followed each other on Twitter for years now. And at War Games, 01 War Games earlier this year, I forgot who I was talking to. And he like came up to me and like I was talking to Rob Leach. And Chan comes up to me and goes, oh, wait a minute, you're the podcast Squints? And I was like, yes, I'm the podcast Squints, Chan.
I think that's actually where you and I met. Because I was on the pre-show at War Games this year. It was my first ever main card pre-show match at 01.
I was going to say, well, either that or...
It was either that or Anarchy.
I think it might have been... that was my first time seeing you, and then I seen you at Anarchy the following month, or...
Okay.
Because I do remember seeing you I remember seeing you, it was in the
Battle Royal gimmick.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I remember I was seeing you around on Twitter, too, and stuff, from... people retweeting your matches and stuff. And then I started seeing you set up at Anarchy. I want to ask about that. You had a pre-show match at Anarchy not long ago. How does it feel to wrestle inside of Spalding Hall? I like to ask every wrestler that wrestles in there, how's it feel? Because
honestly, to me it's nerve-wracking slightly, but once again it goes back to that word, it's an honor. Because you've seen the talent that comes through there, and there's a lot of people chomping at the bit to get in there. So for them to take the opportunity or for them to give me the opportunity to be one of those people that get to do that is an honor. Seriously. And I want to be my goal for I set major goals and minor goals for myself in this business. And one of my major goals is to get on their main show as a consistent person. And I won't stop till it happens. I think that that is some of my favorite like wrestling ever. And unbiasedly, obviously, I love going there and seeing my friends wrestle, really close friends get on. But it's it's a different vibe in that building than any other wrestling show, I feel like.
It's I don't know how to explain because now that I'm like not there as a fan anymore. As a fan, it's an amazing experience. But when you're there, like when you're like working behind the scenes, like me doing the camera stuff, or if you're a wrestler, or if you're just there in any capacity for the show, it's just like mind-boggling. I guess is the best way to describe it. Like it's surreal.
Yeah, and being in the locker room with the caliber of talent in there, like a Gary J, Jake Parnell, Davey Vega, Matt Fitchett, Laney Luck, Shaza, all of these people. Just you never have enough time. It feels like to pick brains. You know, I I always want to try to ask questions, but I also don't want to be that annoying person that's trying to be all over you asking questions. So just to watch people call matches, sometimes I'll go over like where Gary will, be working on his stuff, and I'll just sit behind him and just watch and just
My,
keep my nose out of everything and just watch and see how he goes about things.
so I have a funny Gary J story about him calling a match. It was the Masato Tanaka show, and I was grabbing something. I forgot who asked me to grab a ladder, and I'm standing behind him and Masato Tanaka, and Tanaka and him are like they're going over their match, and I didn't want to like tap on Tanaka's shoulder and be like, "Hey, excuse me," because like I felt like that would have just been rude. And then Gary just in the middle of calling the match, he just like pulls Tanaka aside. He goes, "Come on, get through." But it was just so like nerve wracking because Tanaka. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That
leads me
was
to
one
this.
match that I wish I could have been there live. I actually didn't go live there at all, and I've watched it back 2 or 3 times now since.
Yeah, no, that match was crazy. But that leads me to my next question. Has there been a moment where you've shared a locker room with someone where you were like, not necessarily starstruck, but you were just like nervous, but not too nervous, if that makes sense?
That Anarchy locker room, everybody.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, I know there's a lot of wrestling in the St. Louis area, and I love the promotions, but in my opinion, I think that Anarchy is number one. I love the wrestling promotions around the area, but Anarchy to me just has that vibe and that feeling when you walk into Spalding Hall. You just get chills almost. So, and then you just everybody there is so nice and takes the time, and that's something that always worried me about this business and with wrestling is the people being jackasses, not wanting to, everybody feels like you're coming for their spot, which in reality we all are. But the way like you conduct yourself, I don't know if I've ever been around such a nice locker room and than that one.
Most definitely. And then this final question, I have two final questions. The first one being, I ask every guest this. Are you familiar with the show Jersey Shore?
No.
Oh,
I know Snooki because she did the WrestleMania thing with Kelly or whatever back in like 2015 or whatever it was.
27, Mania 27, I believe it was. My light just turned off. Oh my. There we go. So I'll rephrase this question then. Usually I ask if you could choose any Jersey Shore cast member to team up with in a tag match, who would it be? But I'm going to rephrase this too. If you could choose any Nickelodeon television star to have a tag team match, who would it be with?
Oh, Patrick Starr.
Perfect answer.
He's overly strong for no reason. Dumber than a box of rocks, so he'll pretty much just go with everything that we you know what I mean, that I want to do. And he can take the heat.
So what is your favorite SpongeBob episode? Now that we're talking SpongeBob.
Um, That's a great question.
In chat,
That's honestly,
if you want to comment your favorite episodes, go ahead as well.
it's a great episode. Our great question. You know what? The I can't think of the name of it. The Bikini Bottom Bowl, where they do the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yep. We're Sweet Victory, I think is what they sing, right?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's a good one. I used to, being the wrestling fan I am, I used to love the episode where the
Where
fry
his
cook
name's not
games.
Rick.
Yeah, yep. Where them and it's like the fry cook games or whatever, and Patrick and SpongeBob are having the match, and then they both like their pants fall down and they're wearing each other on each other's pants or something
And then
stupid
they're
like that.
hugging.
Yeah, and then they hug and they run out the venue together. But then this final question is, if you could give one piece of advice, it doesn't have to be related to wrestling, just life in general, what would it be?
If I had to give advice,
Yeah, if you had to give a piece of advice, it doesn't have to be strictly wrestling, it can be anything. What would it be?
if I were to give someone advice, I would tell you to find Jesus Christ.
All
That
right.
would be what I would tell you.
That's
But other than that, I know it sounds cliche, but if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have any of this.
Yeah.
You know, I obviously put the work in, I put the effort in, and I know a lot of people aren't in the same religious beliefs, and that's fine. I have no issues with anybody in any religion, but for me personally, when I found Jesus, it changed my life completely. It made me happy again. It took a lot of my stress away and made me feel that I was able to actually do this. You know, that I've been, like I said, about a year and a half. About 2 years ago, I was in one of my lowest spots in my personal life that I had ever been in. So, well, probably 2.5 years now ago, I was in a horrible spot in my life. And I pretty much just said, hey, the ball's in your court now. If whatever you need me to do, I need to do it to make my life better. And it was like clear as day. My life changed like that.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. And then before we wrap this up, do you want to let the fans know where they can find you on social media, upcoming shows, stuff to that nature?
Social media, Facebook. Unfortunately, I am at Jacob Clover, which is my real name. I have my Twitter, which is at Noah Clover. Instagram at Noah Clover 28. I have upcoming shows. I have 01 Thursday Night Throwdown every single Thursday in Edgewood, Illinois. I have 01's main show on the 30th. I am going to be at TWE on December 14th. And I have a couple other ones in the works that we're still trying to figure out and hammer down. So more to come, obviously. Just keep looking on the social medias, please. Hit a follow and we'll make it all work. And hopefully I'll get you out or get to see you more at shows too.
Awesome. Anything else you want to say before we wrap this up?
Just I appreciate you having me on. It was fun. It was easy. So thank you, and I appreciate all the fans and stuff for watching and hanging out with us for the half hour, 40 minutes that we've been on here.
Besides Shan. But that's gonna do it for this. No, I love Chan also. That's gonna do it for this episode, guys. As always, you can leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You can leave 1 star, 5 stars, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you feel like doing. It doesn't matter.